Hey, it's the Chief bonding with board games and RPGs, and this is
HAMTAG. Greg
HAMTAG.
Schmidtkins, how you doing?
Greg Schmidtkins, Chief for Bart Brunchine, and we got Judd here in memory. So thank you for everybody tuning in. Real quick, we've got our little welcome sign, and then we had some folks in the waiting room here already coming in. So as we go through, I won't come to this like, don't think it's going to come up immediately, but we'll take little segments between ours just to kind of bring in some of the comments.
Yep.
But there will be a little lag on that. And Boomerman Dan Webb. All right. We know a boomer. At first, I thought it was going to be our boomer.
That's what I thought. But he's not a web guy.
That's right. So this is our top 5 Judd Vance memorial show.
Yep.
One of the cool things, we never like sit down and totally sync up.
Right.
The list will be like
organic.
This. Right.
It's organic.
Way more organic. I know mine's going to be a little bit quirky, maybe Judd style, but do you want to explain how you came to your idea?
One thing I did to prepare for this is I reviewed all of the videos that we did with 3 of us as HAMTAG. There were 17 of them when we were part of Dice Tower. There were 19 after we were on the Dice Tower. And so I went through all of those and just looked at, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember this. And so that's basically what my list is a memory of that were stimulated by rewatching our videos.
The shows, yes. So you went and watched all the 17 with the Dice Tower and the 19 after, and that was just with our trifecta.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
That was when we had everything was rolling. Now, I'm going to admit I couldn't do that. I haven't done that yet. I haven't looked at any of them yet. I'm sure I'll go back.
I've got a trick, which is part of my top 5. So,
okay, good. So, because I was like, I don't think I can go back and watch our shows now. What's funny is for a lot of the folks here, the old shows are ticking up in views again. Yep. So there's a lot of folks doing exactly that. So my list is a little different. There are a couple memories from the shows, but I had a lot of interaction with Judd at church. And so there's some memories from there and when we first met. So some of those will be in there as well. Do you want to, why don't we take a few comments and we'll start.
See what we got.
And I'm going to try not to get choked up. This should be joyful and happy. So, Tim Corchino. Hello. Corchnoy. Wow. Noise. Sorry.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Keeping me honest. Hi, Franz.
Hi, Franz.
Hi, Franz. Oh, heck. We've got, we'll come down to, they don't call them, I think it's not super chats on here, but it's a thank you. Great to see you both. It's good to be here. We've got Matthew Palmer. Again, I'm going to click through these quick and then we'll get to the show. Hello. Cerebrus. Hi from Belgium. Hello. Game Master Rogers Neighborhood. That's a good one. Hello, everyone. Rest in peace, Judd. Yes. David Howe. Hello. Sorry for the loss of your friend. Thank you very much. Keith Shapley. I'm going to skip saying the names since I've got them up on screen. Really like listening to HAMTAG for the banter between the 3 of you. I'm not really a Grogan.
He's either the Steve Grogan from the New England Patriots or the autocorrect change it into from Grog to Grogan.
Got it. All right. Hey, Mark Herman's in.
He's that guy from NCIS, right?
I didn't know. I always thought he was the great one.
Yeah, we're coming to that.
I don't know. Or maybe even Chuck Norris, like the designing Chuck Norris of the day. It's a very sad day. Very sad day. This is a good thing you're doing. Well, thank you guys. And thank you for the support. There's a HAMTAG from Tom Knight. Darren Q, we got a smiley face, and we're going to start with hi from California. All right. Why don't we, what do you have?
What I got for my number 5 memory, it wasn't directly with one of the shows, but during the shows, he mentioned several times the fact that we played squad leader, advanced squad leader, and based off of my 1-page teaching sheet. And what I remembered about it is that, because we all have our own tactical systems. I'm an ASL guy. You're often talked about Conflict of Heroes. He was Band of Brothers, the good parts of it. So we were never going to switch over to anybody else's.
Right.
But when we were playing that game, it was like we talked about the fact that he could see that, oh, this is how Band of Brothers works. Oh, it came from ASL, got modified. I like what it is better. But we learned to appreciate that the systems complement each other. And then it was a good enough game that, I mean, it just came right down to the last die roll. We were fighting for a building right in the middle of the battlefield. It came down to hand-to-hand combat, die roll, and I ended up winning. But I mean, it was a great scenario that went right down to the last minute, and it just kind of epitomized the way we approached the tactical games that we play.
Russian German, Russian American, or
that scenario?
Yeah,
it's the guards counterattack. It was Russian guards attacking Germans in Stalingrad.
Love it.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Now, I've also associated games with mine, so we will come to it. But my number 5 is the very first meeting of Judd. So we had the Wichita area board gamers group that would kind of ebb and flow with its how many people we had
locations
and location. But near the end, it's now closed. It was called the Heroes Complex. A great store, didn't survive COVID, but we would meet there, and we always met first Saturday of the month.
I think we were there even more often.
Okay,
but yeah.
more. But it was like officially first Saturday, third Friday,
something
I think.
Like that. Yeah.
And so the store could tell people who were interested in board games, hey, there's a good time to come by. Judd had been told that he wasn't into Magic the Gathering or some of the miniatures games, and they said there's a board
not a
game
Warhammer guy,
right? Not a Warhammer guy. He wandered in on the odd chance that someone in here might like games like him, and I was there were several folks that everybody was really friendly about greeting and stuff, but I saw him come in. He had the board gamer look. And we were getting, like, what's going on? I've seen that one. So I got out of what was about ready to start, and I went over and just introduced, and he remembered the game. I did not remember the game. It was Pandemic that we played first. It was a good 45 minutes solid. And then when we were done, he's like, I haven't seen a lot of these. Have you ever heard of Avalon Hill? I said, oh, yeah. And he said, anybody else? And I pointed at you, and I know he worked over to you and Aaron and a couple folks. So my number 5, and because of that, it's Pandemic.
And here's my virtual ASL.
That's right. So I brought Pandemic just to show this is I've got all kinds of expansions in there, but that is my game, and that's my number 5 with Judd.
Let's see a few more notes. We want to see what people have said.
Absolutely. We'll pick up here. I might have done, I did tell them already. Yep. And I'll catch up. Here we go. We've got 2,000 hours here in Scotland. Oh, it's launch of awe. Wouldn't miss this. And I'm with you. It's a little sad at the same time. Greeting from Ireland. Awesome. Always watched your HAMTAG episodes upon release. They were a joy to film. I can tell you that. So very good. Yeah, they were always fun to hang out. We always had stacks of games everywhere. And all right, number 4.
So number 4. So I mentioned that I watched all of the videos. He said he couldn't do it, but I realized, in the time to respond to what we wanted to do and everything. So I cranked them up, all the YouTube videos, to 1.5 speed. And the thing I noticed is that we sounded a little different. We sounded more like this. Judd sounded exactly the same. It was just, there was so much enthusiasm anyway that it was like, no, this is no different. How did he sound different than us? Because, he would get going on a topic and he would just crank it in that you could hear, his larynx downshifted so that he could just talk about everything and so quick about everything, especially dinosaurs and the great one.
That's right. Dinosaurs and the great one.
There you go.
Well, maybe a little bit. I have it as a general. It'll come in later, so I'll come to it later. But it is funny because he knew he was on a bit of a time crunch because he would have taken the whole hour on like his number 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or explained why it was almost 6.
Yeah.
Just to sneak in what 6 was.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. My number 4, this one is going to be a little bit weird and different. So I'm going to explain it. So at church, there's this Awana group, which is like, think of it almost like Cub Scouts Bible study for little kids. I showed up with my 5-year-old and he was there, and I had brought a book. I live on the other side of town from the church. So I brought a book I was just going to read rather than run back and forth. He was there, wouldn't leave because he had EpiPens. Both of his daughters have peanut allergies. And he said, I can't leave. So he said, we've got the game while we're here. And that got him extremely excited because we had like an hour and 20 minutes and it was what's going to fit. And so what we did on that first, I didn't read, we discussed what could we do? What games do we both know with no teach? What about setup problems, which is why Memoir was out and some of the other block games. And we just worked into that. But on one particular occasion, it'll kind of overlap with some of that. I'm a law enforcement, I'm a police officer. And on my way to Awana, the captain had called and said, are you at home? And I had been there was an incident, we'll just call it an incident. This is a long time ago now, where I ended up using force. Wasn't deadly force, but it was force. And I didn't think it was a big deal. It was all on camera. Everything was up. I said, no, I'm actually headed to church. They said, well, we need to meet with you. I'd been on long enough. When they call you on your day off and they need to meet with you, you're getting a notice of an investigation internal. And if they're calling where you're at, it's usually a suspension until that is cleared up. And like the movies, I said, well, I can stop by the station on my way. Went in, have my 5-year-old, he meets and greets. They later give them back because they normally now, unlike the movies, they don't usually take your gun and badge unless you've committed a crime or you're a danger to yourself.
Okay.
But they didn't know, and they took my gun and badge because I'd used force and they weren't sure it was legal. Turns out I was totally cleared. But psychologically, it messed with me a little bit. It was like the movies, but it actually messed with me a little. So I show up to play, and Judd is like, we're going to play this. And he's like, and all of a sudden he goes, you're not really with it. What is going on? So then we paused and had a very cool discussion, which is good with non-law enforcement, because he was a little bit like, we didn't get any games played, but it was good to have that friend element there. And it was such a weird, I'd been on like 20 years at that point. So it was such a weird experience. And then this part's true. If they take your symbols, your badge and your gun, you do feel a little bit different as well. So it was a very nice like friend moment where we did not get any games played, but it was nice to be able to sit with him and just chat.
Wow.
So yeah, that was interesting because I wasn't going to say anything. One, I was still a little stunned. Two, I wasn't sure what was going on, but he picked up something's off. You can't seem to focus.
Been there. I've played with people like that.
Yeah. And I couldn't get my focus in. So then we ended up chatting, and that was my number 4. I will come back to some Awana stuff later, but my number 4 was.
And so then Judd was called as a character witness
He could have been. Later, the same video I put in my report is the exact thing that clears everything up. It was very stunning. It all depends on who watches. Yeah. Once the lawyers saw the video, they were like, well, there's nothing here. This isn't even outside of policy.
This is SOP.
Yeah. They're like, not only did you not break a law, you're within our policy. Although I did say something rude. I have a tendency to run at the mouth. And I said,
okay.
Yeah, I told someone in odd ways to shut up without cursing. So, but it was nerdy.
Looks like we got a page of white over there.
I told someone if you can't use the proper syntax, and they were European, don't speak English to me. That got me.
So I think the yellow is the last one we saw. Up a little.
Got it. Up a little. Sorry, are we up here?
Yeah, we're past that.
Oh, now I'm lost.
No, keep scrolling. Greetings from Ireland.
Yes.
HAMTAG's one. Hello from Colorado.
Hello from Colorado. We'll come back to Mark. Hello from Colorado. What part? I'm from Evergreen originally. A proper remembrance of Judd is with a HAMTAG. I felt like he shouted that. Very good. Yeah, I grew up in Evergreen, Colorado. Great to see the two of you from Canada. All right.
That's right, eh?
Hey. The three of you doing HAMTAG really snapped my journey into war games. Very good. Judd's banter was crucial and so missed. I agree 100%. Judd is one of those guys who comes into your life from an unexpected direction. He was impossible not to like. We became good friends, and we did France 1944 or France 44 together, the second edition. Nice and a guy with talent. Oh, and he enjoyed that, Mark. I can tell you that. Boomerman Dan Webb. Judd's online persona is one of the friendliest and welcoming in the gaming community. I wish I could have met him in person. Cerebrus, I'll remember him with my copy of Hands in the Sea, yes. And France 44 Signature Designer Edition. You bet.
Yep.
And Brian here, I glanced at my shelves of games and realized there are at least a dozen that I bought based on Judd's enthusiasm on HAMTAG. He will be missed. Absolutely. Very good. All right.
So my number three, as I said, he was enthusiastic about a lot of things, but one of the things that he said frequently, it wasn't in every video, unlike the thing I'm going to mention later, but he frequently talked about dinosaurs, that dinosaurs could improve any game. We talked one time we talked about Dinosaurs of the Lost World. And it was just like somebody was next to me just quivering because, you know, he was tuned in to Dinosaurs of the Lost World. Yeah. And the phrase he said, I did not, let me see if I can find out which episode it was in. It was in our one. You really can't see it.
Right.
This is the topics for all 36 of ours and some notes I took while I was doing it. And it was during our one. This was still with Dice Tower. And it was one on the top 5 strategy games. And so we were there talking about strategy games, but he was talking about that he would enjoy a strategy game, even if it had dinosaurs and spaceships dropping napalm on zombies. That was, I mean, any kind of mashup with dinosaurs, that was his sweet spot.
Yes, he would be in on the dinosaurs.
Yes.
And I'd forgotten when I was in trouble, it was For the People.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Mark Herman game. Yep. I was like, how do I? And he actually, I got that, I believe, because of him. We were going to get that played. It hadn't happened, but.
Okay. Now we're at number 3.
Yes. Number 3 is kind of what I referenced. I've got it titled as Designer Mark Herman or Chuck Norris of Game Design.
That would work.
Yeah.
That would work.
So Judd, and you probably have some, Judd, I believe, would work up Chuck Norris jokes, which I can't even do the Chuck Norris jokes off the top of my head. And then he would morph it to be Mark with a game design thing about, like, you know, pushing a counter or crossing the Rhine or something.
If Chuck Norris designed a board game, then he would be less than
And so not only was it the great one, and it was funny because just in passing at the WBC, I think I had met Mark. I think I know you've talked to him often. The wonderful thing about designers of board games is that if you go to a con, they're extremely approachable. And even though Judd had the crush, we were like, you know, you could just go to the con and meet him, and then he ends up meeting Mark in New York City.
Right.
My number 3 is designer Mark Herman, Chuck Norris, and of course, where did I have it? Oh, I messed up twice. It was going to be Commands and Colors was going to be Commands when I was police, and For the People was going to be the Mark Herman reference since he was there. Both would work.
Because Mark Herman is For the People.
He is For the People.
He's not guest starring on NCIS.
Exactly. He's For the People and the designer.
Right.
Of For the People. Should we take, I don't know if we've had any. Nope, we haven't had any more come in. So, we all right? Yes.
No, Airborne Games. That was new.
Oh, see, you're doing great. I share Judd's enthusiasm for Airborne Games. I have Drop Zone Southern France on my table in his honor right now. And there we go. Yeah, I'm going to just keep this up. That will tell me where I'm at as we move, even though it'll take up some screen time and kind of block Judd.
Okay. So my number 2 is about Mark Herman because I look back, the first HAMTAG episode we did, it wasn't HAMTAG, it was with the Dice Tower.
Yes.
Gaming with the Chief.
Yeah.
Board Games with the Chief. And it was on our top 5 war games. That's how we started. And you can tell he had to introduce us. I was dressed the first, you can kind of time our videos, because the first like 3, I think, I thought, I'm addressing the public, and I was there in a dress shirt with a collar and all this stuff. And I finally graduated to,
I do need to go watch these
Hawaiian shirts. But in that first episode on his top 5 war games, he narrowed down his Judd's 1 and 2 to Empire of the Sun and Washington's War. And he was having trouble, deciding which was which, because Empire of the Sun is the one he would think about, how could I do this move and everything? But he really liked the approachability of Washington's War. And then at the end, he kind of leaned into the camera and said, I guess I'm kind of a Mark Herman fanboy. I'm guilty. And boy, were we to find out that was an understatement.
Right. Yes. And I think even on one show, you told him, I've met him. He's an average guy.
Yeah.
You could talk to him.
Yeah. And so, but some of the other ones that evolved out of that, on our episode of the most anticipated games, when we were talking about games that we hoped would come out, that was when we talked about that Judd was getting his papers processed to become Mark's adopted son.
Right.
And that was the first time he talked about the fact that when he designed games, Mark was using the chemical element markhermium. When we talked about Pacific World War II games, surprisingly enough, he was talking about Pacific War, not Empire of the Sun, but it was Maximus Awesomus. So, and for the best games that he played at WBC, I can't remember which one. It might have been France 44 that he played there. Whichever one it was because he played the game designed by Awesome Saurus Rex. So he was there. And then, and if we ever, one of my favorite episodes, you said it was one of the fans' favorite episodes, was the overrated one.
Yeah, that one gets, I think it's because it's somewhat controversial even in its title.
And
overrated.
And the thing why I liked it is because we all had our own ways of defining what was overrated, and then we say true to that.
Right.
But in that one of Judge, and I think it was his number 1 overrated game, was Fire in the Lake.
Oh,
designed by Mark Herman.
Right.
Because
coin series.
It's number 18 on Board Game Geek, which is great. But there's nothing else. There's no other Mark Herman games that were higher than 18. And Judd was mortally offended that was a top rated. It was overrated because there's all these other Mark Herman games.
They're better.
And the only way Judd would accept that it would be number 18 on Board Game Geek is if the other 17 were all Mark Herman games. So that was his criteria for the overrating of games. It was comparing to Mark Herman. So yeah, that's the number 2 thing I remember, is just like number 3 for Bart was, the Mark Herman, Judd Vance orbit that we all lived in.
Right. Fangirl.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. He had the fanboy, fangirl side.
There.
And I'm going to keep your sheet when you're done too,
Sure.
if you don't mind. I will
Absolutely.
hold on to that. That'll be cool.
And then you've got all the memory, the information and all. Although I couldn't figure out how to time these, because they just all that shows on BGG on YouTube. I mean, it was X years ago, so I could put them that close, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, when I go, because I will go watch them. I thought about it, and I thought, we're going to hold for a bit.
Yeah.
So my number 2 is both the title and it'll be the featured game, is A Few Acres of Snow, Martin Wallace. So one of the games we played again and again at Awana at church was A Few Acres of Snow, and it worked so well. And it was one of the games that when we played, I would be thinking of, wow, that was interesting on that. It's a real slow deck builder. It's supposed to try to give you the feel of like the written orders that go back to England, and then how it takes a while for things to spool out.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be driving home and thinking of, next time I'm going to try this strategy. And then I had a whole week to prepare, and I would come in, and it was one of the only times I was able to beat Judd consistently, is because he was fighting the last war. He was the last time I beat him. He had been thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. I'll do that. I'll thin the deck. And now I instead was building forts or something. And it was totally something new. And I didn't care if I lost. I was just like, how could I get that to? And so I continually confounded him repeatedly. Which
now, was this when you did this? Was this one game? Would you play one game a night, or?
Yes, we would get one game in.
Okay, and so then you had the week to to plan your devious
And I would sit and think, and I was kind of getting a feel for how the deck would. And it was kind of painful how you got to wait for the deck to trigger. Very interesting. It was a very interesting,
because Hands in the Sea is the same way.
Yes,
it's like, oh man, I if I can get this, build up this city, but I don't have the card yet to build this city. So what can I do with this hand? So I can do that.
Yes.
Yeah. And did you guys ever? I know on the video you guys talked about it, but when you were playing, did you ever scoff at the Halifax at the hammer?
It had not. We had been playing before that had even been
identified.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Judd went back and had to, because he played, I think he started playing a lot of it on Vassal as well, maybe. And so he had played enough that he was like, if you see it happening, you just do this to stop it. We did not know that at all.
Okay.
It was more of the diving in of, look at all these different strategies that are going on.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing I found about Hands in the Sea, because I don't get back to it a lot, but I did play it just actually a couple months ago, and it was like, I haven't played this in a while, but now I remember. It's there.
It was really neat. It had my mind working. It was perfect for Awana, and it was so easy to set up and play. And then, of course, we didn't have to do any rules explaining. Because we were cycling back in.
I'm not even sure if there was as much in Hands in the Sea. It's just like, put these
Here's
9 things on the board.
Yeah, the cards go in this spot.
Yeah,
You're here and I'm here.
Yeah.
So it was very good. Let's see. I left it up, so I should be able to find it.
There we go.
That worked very good. My first war game was up front. Wow, with the Bonsai expansion, which is what got me watching HAMTAG. Very nice. Greg actually gifted me a Bonsai.
Yeah, I saw that on the video.
Yes. I'd had one and it had fallen apart somewhere in my 20s, and I dumbly didn't put it back together. and Greg rectified that. Trevor Just, favorite moments when he'd ask Greg to stop glossing over games and then proceed to also go into massive depth about a game. Yeah, massive.
Yeah,
massive.
Yep.
Stalker. Yes. Yes, we figured we weren't sure Judd could even visit New York State at one point.
Yeah, we talked about restraining orders several times. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could have met these three in person too. I'd love to get in touch with Bart and get him on my channel sometime and chat RPGs.
Oh, gee, that'll probably never happen.
Yes, you bet. We can figure that out. Here comes the great one. Watch out, Maximus Rex. First time I became aware of Judd is he did an entire set of Empire of the Sun videos. Yeah,
they came out after I had learned it, but they were really good. I mean, just Chip, this is what's happened. Note, this is why you're doing it. Then, this is where it is. They were really well done. Yeah,
very good, very good.
Yeah,
I'm blushing. Oh, he's probably watching still.
Yeah.
Love the enthusiasm Judd carried with him. Yes.
Yep.
That'll come up in my list in a little bit. I'm glad you guys are doing this. Judd has already missed. He was
that's nice.
Always supportive of my wife with her own cancer journey.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Very good. Let's see. I'm glad I found this. Glad you're doing better.
Glad you're doing better, Chief.
Glad you're doing better, Chief. Okay. I don't know with me. What was I doing?
I might have been that hat.
Could have been the hat. I am wearing this shirt because he liked the Corsair. He had one on his game shelf. So that's why I picked that one up. I'm glad you're doing better. Okay.
Oh, maybe better than you're being without your badge and gun. Maybe he's
could be that. Could be that. It was just like it was 2 bad weeks.
Oh, it took 2 weeks.
It took 2 weeks.
Whoa! And when that happened, I mean, were you just off duty?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it wasn't. I was off. They suspend you at home with pay.
Okay.
And so you have to have your phone, you got to answer it. And then what it usually is, you got to come in for a criminal interview. So you have to get an attorney.
Right.
And I went in for my criminal attorney. The hardest thing with that was you're coming up to, it's the 6th floor is the detective floor for Wichita City.
Right.
You're walking the 6th floor. I was a sergeant at this point. I'd been a detective on that floor, and it is dead man walking. So you have some folks, they're either friends and they don't want to be on the floor when you come up because they don't want to see you. There's other ones that are looking at you and you can tell they're like, what if that was me? You have other folks that give you this faint wave and you feel like, well, maybe I'm in more trouble than I thought. I was fairly like, okay, somebody's concerned, but we can come in and answer it. And I went in with my attorney. It was like a 10-minute interview. And I'm like, guys, it's all on video. I mean, have you watched it? But we had to answer a series of questions, and then that cleared everything. But they were a little irked because I wanted an attorney. And I'm like, if you're going to read me Miranda, here's a clue, get an attorney. Yeah. I'm like, if you read me,
that's what you tell everybody. So
I'm getting an attorney. And so they had to wait on the attorney's schedule.
I have a friend that,
it was the weirdest thing. They were mad because I couldn't get up there quicker. So my opinion, they slow rolled me getting back out. So I thought it should have taken a week because there was some things, but it took 2. But I was like, okay. And then right back out on the street. But it was, it was a weird sitting at home with very little to do, but tied to, although the cell phone lets you range. But,
although you were probably playing B-17.
I'm sure I worked something in. That, and then here's the funniest side story. Some folks are calling to hey, how you doing? Your buddies check on you. Other ones are gone. They ghost you. They don't know what's going on. One didn't know the circumstances, called, and he said, I'm sure you'll be fine. I said, yeah, but the crime they're citing is a felony. What? Gotta go. Click, and he was gone. I was like, oh my God. I was nervous again. I'm like, that was a terrible call. Terrible.
Thanks, friend.
Yeah, he was like, what? It was the deadline tone. Again, cleared of everything except the rude conduct. All right, where were we? I left it.
Sure, we can do some more of these.
Okay. Yeah. You're all right. I'm going to miss Judd. Sorry, we should have done a list. I'm breaking protocol here. I'm going to miss Judd. What else would tease me? Who else would tease me about my love of Deep Space Nine over a live stream? Very good. He ended up liking Deep Space a little bit later. Condolences from Brazil to the HAMTAG team. And here's Mark on a serious note. Judd and I also spoke about our cancers, but what caught me by surprise was how quick things went after he told me it had come back. I was sure he was going to make it. Yeah, me too. That's one of the things that caught me. Sorry. And let's go to you.
So that was 2.
Yes.
So we're down to 1. But you said you had
honorables.
Some honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the spirit of Judd, I usually don't do them, but he always had several honorable mentions.
Yeah. Except party games. I don't think he had.
No.
Could we just do 2.5 instead of 5?
Yes. Exactly.
So I look back. So one thing I was curious about was the derivation of the word Uragamur.
Yes.
And it was from our Dice Tower days. Okay. And it was when we talked about the Ameritrash games.
Got it.
Ameritrash games. And we were sitting in our usual places, and he goes, because I know that a lot of these might appeal to a Uragamur and everything. And I was like, what did you say? Yeah. And then it appeared, it became part of our lexicon.
Yes.
So that's one of my honorable mentions. What you got?
The K-State greatness. He was a K-Stater, Wildcat, so he usually had a jersey or something. And then he loved the coach, and then he hated the coach, and then there was
it evolved.
Yeah. So you would see that back and forth, and I'm not as much into college sports in general, so a lot of what he said was completely lost on me. So that was one. Do you have another, or I can go through?
Yeah, I'll go another one of mine.
Yes.
So on our the band is back together. That's one we put after we'd been out for a while. And I think we did it live questions. That one, the only one that we did like that.
Right.
And right at the end of it, I mentioned the fact that, at that time, there were 17 videos on Dice Tower, and there were 17 on Bonding with Board Games. And so we had the same number on Dice Tower as we had in Bonding with Board Games, which makes, and his eyes just lit up, and we both go, Stan Musial! because out of his 3,630 hits, half of them were at home, exactly half of them were on the road, which is an unusual stat, especially for somebody with that many hits. And we did, as I recall, we did a high five right in front of your face. So that was when, sports weren't really why we were together, but we hit that note at the same time.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was
funny. I do remember it because I didn't. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I have church chat. We would sit in the same pew, and he could not wait. Occasionally, he would church chat, and my wife would be like, "Hey, quit talking." But he would want to cover right after the service what was hot or what was on his table or what the next HAMTAG we should do when he and I were doing some. And it got to the point that my wife knew, go get our youngest son out of Sunday school and then probably grab a donut and then come back. And now it was time to wrap up so we could leave. But it was like my Judd fix. Because I think what had happened, he was, there was a lot of just like his kids, his daughters were doing sports and he was coaching. And so there was some of just life stuff where the big time we had to chit chat was church. So church chat. I've listed Napoleonics as the game with this just because he was, I never got into Napoleonics. He was like, this was right as he was starting to play every scenario or getting ready.
Right.
So he's like, you have to play it. And we played a scenario that he knew would be good. And it was actually really enjoyable. And then the difference that in Napoleonics is you lose one of your 4 units, your power does go down.
Right.
And that was a nice touch. Whereas the other ones, you could have one block of the 4.
You're still
the same
full power. Right.
Yeah. So that was very nice. So church chat would be one of my honorable mentions.
So what are you doing gaming right now?
I've gotten heavy into role play.
Okay.
And so we would chat on that. And he'd even talked about, he was like, is there any Star Trek role-playing stuff? I go, yeah. So I picked up a couple books and we were looking into, hey, maybe we'll try, maybe even film something, because I'll film a different solo series. So we'd been talking role-play stuff.
You're familiar with Traveler, right?
Yes.
100%. How would you, in your head, are Traveler and Star Trek role-playing games brothers, cousins, mom and kid?
Probably the only, so
distant,
right.
Obviously completely unrelated.
Sci-fi, right. I think the cool thing, I didn't play a lot of Traveler, but it has its tendrils kind of in everything that's out there. For game wise, because they did a very good job of one, when you rolled up a character, you didn't have to do this, but you could do, I'm going to forget the catchphrase. You could roll on these life charts,
right?
And you could end up with your character's this general, but he's 78 years old, so he's not going to be a good fighter, but he's got a lot of connections.
Oh, cool.
Maybe he lost a leg or he's, or whatever, but you might have that. Or what was real weird in Traveler is they could die and you had to like do it again. So you kind of risked as you, but you would pick up a lot of things as you went. And Traveler to me feels a lot like, the rumor is that the I'm going to blank on his name now, but Firefly, Joss Whedon, with his brother played a lot of Traveler or Brothers when he was young. And so a lot of folks felt like Firefly, the idea that this odd mix of a crew and they're always looking for a job and they got to fix stuff and there's this push.
And they're mortal.
Right. Yes.
Because mortality.
Right.
2 of the 9.
Yes. Die. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that was that. Whereas the Star Trek RPG is much more of, there's a lot of the techie, you've got your transporter, you got your tools, you got your stuff. And then, yes, you do have your missions. The one he and I had been talking about, I'm going to forget, they've got like their secret CIA of Starfleet that I can't remember the name. It's been a thing in several stories.
Oh,
And section
31.
Yes, I think so. They'll correct us here. And I'd said, hey, this would be cool. We can pick an era. You pick the era, and
Okay.
it'll allow us to do things. Maybe we're just doing a diplomatic, but maybe we're sneaking into something. So I said, or do you want to just be on a ship and go? And I said, but this will work better for just two of us. And he was like, yeah, let's do this section 31 if that's it.
Okay.
So that.
And then I've been doing finished an ASL scenario last night. We haven't played a lot of night scenarios, but we've been kind of on a night kick. So we played, I think, 3 night scenarios in a row, and we're just laughing the whole time because it's like, no, you can't do that. I can't see you yet. I mean, it's great. Yeah, we're this far apart, but it doesn't matter. You can't see me.
Got it. And then I'm sure in the night stuff, you're shooting up a starburst sometimes.
Yeah. And only the way it works is, I'm not sure if you're familiar how many other games use it. A sniper mechanic in Squad Leader is you aim here, and then you do a D6 for what direction and another D6 for how far away it is. So it's like, well, there's a person there. I'm trying to shoot the star shell there. Oh no, it landed over here.
Right.
And so you're lighting up your own guys on this flank. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's
I've seen it with a grenade throw. Like if you don't do well, it can end up even dangerous.
And then for those when we are filming this next week, this is Thursday. Next Friday, the July 24th, I'll be headed to outside Pittsburgh for the World Board Gaming Championship. Nice. Maybe I'll see Mark. Maybe I'll see some of the viewers there. So we're getting ready for that. Got a game of SETI planned. Got a game of Congress of Vienna planned. Probably going to play Napoleonic Wars. Boomer, another home gamer, and I are doing a Napoleonic Wars to prepare for that tournament.
Nice. Just
to make sure the mechanics. So,
and I've got to play SETI. We've started doing game nights over here again, and I definitely want to get to play a SETI.
And somebody, not this last meeting, I think the one beforehand. No, but anyway, somebody has said, I will show up because I want to play SETI. So I'm bringing my copy.
Got it. Perfect. I think it was at the funeral somebody was really interested in SETI.
Yeah, that's it, who it was.
Yeah. I want to say almost Josh or something. I'd met him. I've got to reach out to him.
Yeah.
My last honorable mention. This one's a little sad, but a little good too. And I'm going to compare it to like a military deal. So I was sitting right over there when Judd called me. I think it was 2022, and he had just gotten the pancreatic cancer diagnosis, and it had rocked him. He was in the rug's been pulled out from underneath me, and we talked for I think an hour, and it was more just he needed to. It was almost like it felt like the flip of when I was out of it when I got suspended.
Yeah,
and then when he got his surgery, they caught the pancreatic early enough. They were hoping the surgery was good because it had hit on a nerve or something, so they found it. And then he was in that remission for a while, and we thought it was good. But when it came back, I'd had a buddy over here who's a nurse, and he did a lot of oncology and hospice and home health care. And he had mentioned to Judd something along that line, and Judd said, nope. And so he'd reached out and said, how's he doing? And I said, it's interesting. He reminds me of some combat veterans I'd run across where in that way of, oh, I definitely could die, but I'm on this road. He'd also had a very religious experience that I think helped him out a lot too. But he was not on a I'm terrified, scared mode. It was more like, the best I could explain it, what I told this nurse, he reminds me of some like special forces guys I knew where they were like, yeah, who gets out alive? It was kind of that thing. And so he was in a good place for anybody thinking about it. It wasn't like he'd really kind of settled in. But what caught me is there were some things in remission, but I didn't ask him, and I can never say the word right. It's a Latin on the wasting disease, cocheria or something. Where
I'm not up on that.
I can't remember, but he'd referenced that basically he was consuming, his body was kind of consuming itself. Metabolically, he couldn't keep his calories up. And he was losing so much weight. and that's what got him.
Okay.
So, but let's take some of these.
Yeah. See where we are on this.
Yes, we'll come back up here. I've got it on
There we go.
Perfect. You guys all have the energy that every gamer loves that says, let's play.
But maybe we should just go ahead and log into Board Game Arena and start a game now. But
yeah, we'll just get her going. We can do werewolf.
Let's do something else.
Judd hated it. Yeah, that's going to be a game I show next. This is great. Many smiles are being remembered. Thank you all. Thank you. Judd's spirit for gaming was second to none. I'm glad to be here celebrating a great gaming ambassador.
Disavowed, though.
Yeah.
It's the person before.
Disavowed 92.
You're not going to admit that you ever watched this. But...
That's right. I didn't do it. I wasn't there. I can neither confirm nor deny that my love for watching this war was due to Judd. But do you have a restraining order? I always enjoyed watching Judd with you guys over the years, and I remember when he did 30 days and 30 solo nights. Yeah, that was one of his big. That was amazing. Always appreciated his insight. Yeah, he put a lot of thought and work into that. Someone will come along with a Star Trek inspired Morkborg soon, I'll bet. Yeah, you're probably right. Although Morkborg, the phrasing is kind of, well, we won't get into that RPG side. I've enjoyed your stream for years. I will miss Judd. All the best from Niagara. Very cool.
Okay.
The New York side or the Canadian side? I hear the Canadian side's more better. Judd's last list on BGG inspired us to do a top 5 games we want to get to the table live stream. Very cool.
Good.
Love it. His passing really made me think about the games I want to play with friends and family. Got to stop saying there is time. You never know. That is true. Sadly missing WBC this year. Oh, have fun.
Too bad.
Okay. Got it. I've got SETI set up on my table just now.
So it might be in the thread, with or without space agencies. And do you have space agencies? How do you like it? And I'll say, if we see a response, I'll tune in.
Perfect. I'll be there. I run Ace of Aces and play a few games.
Yeah, cool. I was thinking of bringing my aces. I've got rotaries.
Okay. That old chestnut 6550. I would have loved to have had Judd's opinion on the solo board game, Mr. President. That would have been interesting because I have it over there. The only thing that was weird, they came out with their second fixed up version pretty quick. And I was like, oh, God. Rest in peace, Judd. You should live stream a CNC Napoleonics in honor. That would be good, but I would need him because he walked me through.
I think I have played it maybe a couple times.
Yes.
So come to think of it.
It was good. And why don't you go now for your number one?
For number one. So this is just a little thing, but I know it was the one when we laughed the hardest. And I already mentioned it to you. We were doing our video. Let's see, co-op was, that was, we did the co-op when we were bonding with board games.
Okay.
And we got down to Legendary Marvel. And it might have been his number one. I think it was his number one co-op game because it just carried the theme so much. Mm-hmm. And that was when somebody had wound up his spring, and he was going on about the theme how Spider-Man can do this. There's Peter Parker's marriage was in the magazines, and Spider-Man can do this, but it's not like he's a SHIELD agent, but he can't take out Magneto, and he can't take out Apocalypse, but he did take on Firelord. He took on Firelord in issue 265, and he was just going on like this, and Bart just leans over to him and goes, I think it was 272, and he just froze for a few seconds going, did I really have that wrong? And meanwhile, we're over there talking. Yeah, it was just like, oh, I remember it was this issue. Yes, I remember Paris when I wore chiffon and you had on, and then all of a sudden he goes, no, it was 265.
Yes. I pulled that number and I made it up.
But he was ready to defend the game.
Yes,
he was Marvel Comics, right. Spider-Man, everything. He was spring loaded.
How could Bart know better than? Because I couldn't. He was a fan until somebody did a book series that broke him of his habit.
272.
Perfect. So on that note, for Judd, we have Werewolf. I would tell him at church every once in a while, hey, you missed a heck of a party game the other day at the house. And in all honesty, he'd go, no, I don't like those.
Every time.
Yeah, I'd go, I know.
Like I forgot.
I know you don't like them, Judd. That's why I brought it up. So it's HAMTAG, Judd's HAMTAG, quirky exuberance and going long. We would even, like, before we start, we'd say, let's try to keep it tight.
Let's not go an hour.
Yeah.
This is an easy topic. Let's not go over an hour 15. Let's aim for an hour 15.
Yes. And then we would and then I think it would even be like, you might start in a nice 10 or 5.
Yeah, my engineering approach, which lots of people don't like. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I would click in and it would be about the same, a little more free form. And then 28 minutes on number 5, where I would go, Judd, we just did 5 and 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
But what was so funny, I think, is HAMTAG even went on a little bit. It turned out, I mean, it was good to be a little tight because otherwise we could be anywhere.
Right.
But it was part of the thing.
It was part of what's made us the on-air talent we are today.
Right. And because when I first even thought about it, the whole deal was Tom Vazel was doing his 3-person panel top 10, but they never touched on war games at all. They weren't really war gamers, which is totally cool. But I thought, well, we are. And I immediately thought you would be great with your history. And you were writing general articles when I was reading them in the
one page teaching. Yep.
And then I thought immediately, I was like, Judd would be great because he is more on this, like, effervescent kind of thing. And I'm almost like this casual all gamer kind of thing. So I was like, this could work. I pitched it to Tom. He was, I don't know, but Tom was real good about, give it a shot. If it's terrible, I'm going to tell you though. And then we did that for, I think I filmed 3. We filmed 3 together, right? Didn't we? I think
there were 3. There were 3 episodes when I had on my dress shirt. So I think that was our first recording session.
Yes. And Tom thought that was a little audacious. Audacious. Oh,
I mean, a little bold for us.
Yeah, that I would film 3 right off and then sending them. He put that first one up and it got really good views. And he said, you know what? Keep doing them until I tell you to stop. Those are getting a lot of comments.
Yes.
And so just a nod to Tom Vazel for letting us do that. And I do think when we did it, he was one of he said, I think under him and his show, I had to keep it under an hour, or maybe it was even 45 minutes.
Could have been.
He was on me because they would do 10 in 45 minutes, I think. And we were doing 5.
Yeah.
And he would, so that was where I had, and parameters are good. Well, engineering wise, here's our parameters. We're going to fit into this. So
it was always cool that we came up with, okay, let's do it on this thing. And yet it was, and I did this way, you did this way. We all could spin off of the main theme.
Yeah. So one of the meta joys would be when we got here and I was like, how did these guys do it?
Yeah.
Am I going to be way in left field or just a little bit? And I think we even had one where we all did it kind of oddly different.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Was one of the ones that was different. And there was another one. Oh, I think American games. We all had different, it's like one of us did like American history and one of us did Americana. Yeah. But you're right. We did. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. I bumped a bottle here and I got the dog barking or the mailman's dropping something. So I will get, if you guys keep you can put questions into us or topics with space agencies. I like it more. So this office study, I like it more of what you already have, but with a couple of add-ons.
I agree. I like it a lot. That's the kind of expansion that I really like, where it doesn't change any of the mechanics. It's got an asymmetric start, which is good. There's a couple of agencies that I haven't figured out how to use well yet, but some of them are yeah, I really like it a lot. And then it's got a little thing in it. Are you familiar with space agencies yet?
Mm-mm.
There's a little thing in it, like in Terraforming Mars. They've got the Prelude cards.
Okay.
You know, maybe a little extra production of this,
Mhm.
maybe a little bit. And in Terraforming Mars, you get 4 of them. You pick 2. Here you get 3 cards, and it might give you a little extra publicity. It might give you a little bit of data for your computer. It might let you send out some, you know, when you started the agency, you've got some signals out in the sectors, so you can process information quicker out there, and you get to pick that. So, and then the rest of the mechanics are the same mechanics, a few additional cards, but the same mechanics as at the start of the game. So yeah, I really enjoy SETI with space agencies.
Okay. Very cool.
And we're at the point now where, I mean, we can do a 2-hour game, and God, I think it took us like an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, so it can book.
How many players? 4 or 5?
It'll handle 4.
Okay. For Mark, a serious comment. I had told Judd that I would not do Russia 1944 without him. Plan A did not work. Wouldn't be the same without him. Got it.
That's interesting, because here in a Russia 44, there aren't a lot of games that I can think of that are just about the Russian late war attacks.
When they're in their heyday.
There's a lot of Barbarossa games.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Stalingrad.
the whole war game.
Right.
But not very many that are just on that phase.
Right.
That
You'll
would be
get Kursk, you'll get Stalingrad, you'll get, you know.
I know I played a game of an online game, Vassal, of Barbarossa to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so that starts with Barbarossa. But the most interesting part of the game, I was a Russian. I'm sorry, I was a German. And it was a really interesting challenge, backing up slow enough so that you could, you know, of course, you're not going to win the war against them, but you won the game because you slowed them up enough.
Right.
So yeah, that would be an interesting topic.
And that was amazing. As I've read all my history, the way they would get out of this pocket, that pocket, blowing rail along the way, bridges, the Germans as they were retreating, just their ability to kind of squirt out and preserve and just amazing. All right, let's see. A lot of topics coming in. Good. Trevor, top games of a year was different too. Games,
right?
Yep. Games played of that year. War games of the year. Games Chief played with family and friends. Non-war games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Bill Broadhurst 649. Judd, for me, onto who will tell the Emperor and possibly Malta besieged.
No, probably got him onto.
Got it. I think he liked Victory Point Games States of Siege series. Yes,
a lot.
He loved them.
He mentioned.
Yep, loved the States of Siege. Let's see. Russ and Bags 1967. Ruse. I'm playing Stellar Horizons 2 from Compass next week, but the rulebook has been a disaster. Any advice on teaching games that don't have an intuitive rulebook to others that are starting as well?
Okay. I'm trying to reconstruct. I don't have this necessarily tucked away in my database because I taught a seminar a few times on how to teach board games.
Okay.
And I know the thing, and like I said, I've come out, there's about 50, maybe 60 one-page teaching sheets, one-page ASL.
Wow, you're at 50 or 60 now?
Yeah.
Those are great. Yeah, because I'll find them and go, look at this, and then it's you.
Right.
Of course, now I know your tag is the one page.
Right. If you look, the title is always one page and title of the game. And then sometimes they get updated, so there'll be a version number on it. The first thing on my one page is always, how do you win? Because I've been taught games where they talk about the mechanics, and like it might be a worker placement and you resolve them in sequence.
Yes.
And they spend so much time talking about the preliminaries. They didn't teach us how you the one step that gets you victory points.
Right.
So you start with how to win. You work off of the turn sequence. You know what things when things happen, and when a good way for a one-page teaching sheet is I use a lot of color.
Yeah.
You know, these things like Democker is one that was one of the early ones I did. And there's different ways to score victory points. And this way, every place it shows up in the turn sequence is blue for getting members in your party. Every way where you get it by having the media was red. Every place that is in the so that, you know, when you're teaching and when they're learning, you can see, oh, this is related to this victory condition. And so, you know, you teach it based on the sequence of play. One thing I try to put in there is if there is something that a player should not do, like a lot of games, you know, you've got an opportunity to invest in this thing, but it gives you something that really doesn't improve your chance of winning.
Got it.
You don't want a example. Silverton is it's a building train routes, getting the rights to train routes and building them in Colorado.
Okay.
You can buy a location and it'll cost you money, but you also have the money to get to that location. And so people, you know, oh, this is great. This is going to give me all this money. Oh, but I can't get there. And so I can't do anything for the rest of the game. You want to teach that before. So if there's any dead ends, you want to do that.
Yeah.
And then there's a fifth. I can't remember what the third one is. The fifth one, the last one, is when it comes to random stuff, you know, cards that might come up. I know a lot of people, well, there's a card later that might do all of this. And
we'll cover it when it happens.
Yes. Yeah. You know, and pare that down as much as possible but be ready to describe it when you see it. So those are
the caveat that I'll do that and someone will go, if I would have known that, I would have done something different. If I knew that card was in there, I'm like, that's fair point. I just say, yep, fair point.
But what I say is, yeah, but it might not have come up.
Exactly.
If it's something that is random that may not come up, you know, I'm not going to take responsibility for the fact that it came up like this. So those are, and then
that's huge.
Just in my own head, I try to get everything on one 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Sometimes they're pretty small. I usually work in 2 columns, minimum margins. Sometimes I use the back. I know that I've got a 1-page for Kanban.
Okay.
The automotive manufacturing worker placement game, where the front of the page is how to play the game. And there's a pretty extensive setup. And the back of the page is how to do the setup, so that everything, you don't have to just keep going back to the rule book for that. Everything is on the, and because there's different setup for 3 players and different setup for 2 players.
If you ever get a chance, play Automobile, Greg. I love the game, but when you play with Greg, you have your math is impeccable. Where you're like, there's just a many lost cubes or whatever.
That'd be $420.
Yeah, yes. And then it's fun to watch. It's to go ultra nerdy. We'd finished the game you were playing, and I went over and was watching you and Marshall or whoever, and August or whoever was there playing. And Greg left one of your first manufacturing factories running, which is going to give him tons of lost cubes.
There's in automobile, for those, there's only one way to win. You produce and sell cars.
Yes.
But there's a lot of ways to lose money.
Yes.
And that's one of them, by having an out-of-date factory.
Yes. And you can get these named auto owners, Ford and these guys that will do things. And you'll know who. There's 2 that reduce. One reduces half your lost cubes. The other one's like 2.
Right.
I think you pulled 2.
I think it was Walter P. Chrysler and Alfred Walter Chrysler and Alfred P. Sloan, I
Got it.
think.
So I'm watching this and I'm just like, what is Greg doing? If it was somebody else, I would have thought he's making a mistake because he's keeping that factory open too long. But I knew, well, he's not making a mistake. He's doing something that I haven't seen him do. So I watched, and you were able to mitigate it just right with the Lost Cube founders.
Because, well, partly with the white, plus at the end of the active play, you can make what are called executive decisions. It might be technical improvements so you can sell more cars. It might be discounts where you sell all your cars so you sell more cars, because having cars left on your lot will lose you money. So you don't make as much money, but you don't have extra cars. But one of the things you can do is close a factory.
Right.
And I knew I was early enough in the round that I would have first choice. I would be able to close the factory, and I've already produced the cars.
Right.
They're there. They're ready to sell. And then when you close the factory, you get rid of half of your of your lost cubes. So,
but you had kept that one open, I think, the whole game.
So
So I watched it and I thought, I think I watched what you did, and I thought I'm going to use that next time. And I did. And one of the persons was in there and they kept telling me, what are you doing? You need to close it. I'm like, I'm confused.
It's okay. I'll be all right.
And I used it and it was great.
Anyway, that's my tips on how to teach games.
Yes, and we'll go with that. And then the thing is, with all that.
If you've taken the time to do that, where you took that non-intuitive rule book and put it into a turn sequence, you're gonna know enough to teach it.
Yes. Yep. 100%. All those edge cases, they struggle to remember. There's nothing worse than, there's this edge. This might happen if this happens.
Yeah.
You're never going to get those.
Making sure you've got that's why whenever I post one, I say, this isn't a substitute for the rule book. It's for a teacher so that you teach them everything they need to know. And you're not taking time teaching them things they don't need to know.
Perfect. Judd got me into ... Yep. So, did you guys ever do a show on airborne games? Might be a good topic. I don't think we did.
Not airborne. We did air.
Yeah, air is in like airplanes. We did not do.
Yeah, and air campaigns and things like that. But we did. I mean, it did involve, because that's the one where we did Ace of, I know that Ace of Aces.
Yeah,
was in the mix.
Came in. Yes.
Yeah.
But for like airborne, if he's meaning like Operation Market Garden.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I thought the plan was to link up both Russia 44 and France 44. Well, I think that was Mark's. Mark, I think
really?
would have done it.
Okay.
And Judd talking to me, and I can't remember all of it, but I think it was so, one, he knew he had to like knock it out of the park. He felt a lot of pressure. It's his hero, Judd, to help with the development of France 1944 second edition.
Right.
He enjoyed it. He enjoyed working, but he knew his criticisms, so he wanted to make sure he didn't do what he criticized in other games.
Okay.
He wanted to make sure there were no typos, that everything looked. I mean, it was just, and he told me it was stressful.
Oh, really?
Before he was sick. It was enjoyable but stressful.
Because I don't do it a lot, but occasionally, I know Mark a couple times and some other people have given me rule books to look at. And I mean, I spent 26 years specifically as a technical writer and 13 years doing a lot of contract type work. So I like that kind of stuff.
Didn't you even look over the rules for France 44?
I think so. Yeah.
I think because you caught some stuff and Judd was like, "Oh, I would have missed that."
Because I mean, there's basic grammar, and then I'm also pattern recognition.
Okay.
Oh, over here you called it this. Here you called it that. Here you said it's 2 times. Here you say it's 1 time. Yeah.
Got it. Yep. So, and then I just remember him saying he wasn't going to do it again. I think he even got into his gaming. And so, but there could have been a Russia 44. Also, I've never tried ASL, only the starter kits. So ASL SK is the starter kits. I'm doing some MMP Beyond Valor on Tuesday. Do you have any recommendations on dipping your toe into the full ASL system? Oh, he does.
Okay, so if you know ASL starter kit, you've got a lot of what you need for ASL. I was going backwards. I was a person who plays ASL, and we were going to go back to starter kit.
Right.
And I've got a list of, I think there were 31 things that are different between ASL and ASL starter kit. Maybe I need to post that, because I could attach that like to, if I put it out on Board Game Geek, then a person playing starter kit would know these are the kind of things. And really, a lot of them were really minor. I mean, it's like when you can in full ASL, you can voluntarily break a unit. You know, you're about to get surrounded. You can voluntarily break them and route away. You can't do that in starter kit. Does it come up a lot? No, it's not like, you know, it comes up in many scenarios, but it's a difference, because if you're playing, and maybe, you know, maybe making that something like that available. And I could even highlight on there. Do you have a writing instrument handy? I don't see one. Perfect. I could highlight ASL starter kit, highlight the big differences. Like the big differences have to do with bypass movement, concealment. Those are the two I can think of. It seems like there's a third thing that is a big frequent difference. I like differences. Okay. And I could highlight the differences on this sheet. I will try and do that. That's the thing. I mean, find out what those differences are. That's my recommendation.
Got it. Or was it another game? Tom Knight.
That Tom was link up.
No, I think you're right, Tom. And I believe that was
was he going to keep it when he puts out the second one? He was going to put something in there to combine the two games.
You could put the maps down, and they technically could have had a combined.
Russia map. 44 would. It's like Mighty Endeavor 2 adds East, and you could Mighty Endeavor 2 tells you how to play both of them.
Right.
Got it.
Yep. And Judd did not want to be a developer on that, so it just kind of
okay.
Yeah. All right, that was that. I played a couple games on
a automatic card tracking system, ACTS.
Okay. Of Twilight Struggle with Judd. He didn't like ACT, and he didn't get better at Twilight Struggle either. Okay.
The one thing that I did like, I have not used ACTS in a long time. Basically, all it does is handle the cards and the card events. Then you've got to have something else, usually Vassal, to actually have the board.
Okay.
The thing I liked about ACTS is that every time you did something, roll the die. I'm going to, play this card. I'm going to move this guy from point A to point B. It is stored in a log that you can't change. And it's a numbered log.
Okay.
So you can say, oh, but I was in Rostov. No, you were in Kiev, and it says that in entry number 426 in the log. So it had some way where if there was a difference, there was a way to track that it was there. But I haven't done it now that there are more visual ways of doing it. I mean, Twilight Struggle's out on Steam. Twilight Struggle is out on a Play Deck app.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's on.
Remember the Play Deck app?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. Would you ever do a review of Charles S. Roberts Awards? That could be a good list. Obviously, like founder of Avalon Hill, and then they created the awards in his name.
Well, I think what he's talking about is
we would do a list off of that.
I think I have the what I'm reading there is that we would do a review of the awards for 2016. These were the nominees, and this is our review of the things.
Okay.
And this one got number 1, and this is what we think of this. And oh, this number 3 game, we really think that should be better. This number 2, this number 4 game is there, but this one
almost like we're judging the people that put it into the
list. That's the way I read it.
Right. Okay.
Because it would be talking about current games, the games of this year, which is my weakest spot.
Yeah. And now mine. And when I rolled deep into RPGs, I rolled into that heavily. I still board game, and we're even getting a group that's coming over to do all kinds of stuff. But the RPG stuff ticked up. And so God, I wouldn't be able to do it. Judd Vance, make it 23 pages.
There you go.
Page, Judd Vance, make it 23 pages. Sum up Judd perfectly.
Notes around the paper.
That's right. Designer notes.
11 by 17 sheet.
That's right.
There you go.
Right. A number you could call if you needed a quick reference, and a dinosaur, maybe. The Grog Shed. Good name. Condolences to everyone that knew Judd. I never met him online or in the real world. I always enjoyed his content, both here and on BGG. His passion for the hobby was very obvious. Yes. Oh, he loved it. His wife said, man, him going to the game store and meeting all you guys was so, he just dove in and swam and swam and swam.
Cathartic.
Yeah. I never met Judd, but I still feel like I lost a friend. Rest in peace. You bet. Thank you for the advice. How about an impromptu, off-the-cuff top 5 games Judd would have hated?
Wow.
Well, anything that had a party element, 2 rooms and a boom. So, what do you think, war game wise, that would have?
That's what I'm trying to think.
You'll be better on that.
If there's something there that he would have hated.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I mean, he squad leader ASL wasn't his thing,
right.
But we played that game and he liked it.
Yeah.
He enjoyed it. Didn't,
right.
So I'm a genre of games, but I can't think of any specific ones that he would have.
Right.
Yeah. I'll give it to as we continue. I'll see if anything comes to mind.
Yeah. I couldn't think of any. Rest in peace, Judd, and warmest condolences for his loved ones and friends. So great to see you, Greg. Though, of course, we wish under better circumstances to you all.
Hearts to you all.
Yeah, hearts to you all. Do you know Rod?
Not specifically.
Okay, got it. Well dressed and dapper.
Yeah, there you go. He's like he's on our first 3 episodes.
Yeah, that's right. I love the vest. Let's see. Judd sold me the 1989 CDG.
For $19.89. I like it.
Still listed at that price.
Yeah. And I think he's got a set out there of Warhammer 40K.
That's right. He's hoping somebody takes
the big splash.
Yes. Judd put me on the automobile's wheels to wealth. Great Euro game.
I think it is, to me, it is the best Euro game because other than there is virtually no random elements to it.
Right.
You do pick a demand tile, but I mean the range is, in a 4-player game, 4 of you are picking it. It only goes from 2 to 5. You have an idea.
Yeah.
Of
You'll
how
even
much demand
call out,
there is.
hey, we're probably going to be sitting at this range.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very helpful. Yeah, it's good. It's all about profit.
There you go. There you go. Okay, good. Section 31.
Oh, section 31. Good. Yeah, we did hit it.
Yeah.
Nice. Good call on you. One minor thing I'll share. Judd wrote a great guide to Washington's war on BGG. It really unlocked a lot of strategy for me and friends and allowed us to explore new strategies. Miss you, Judd. Very good. I love the new version of Ace of Aces.
I haven't seen the new Ace of Aces.
Nor I. He totally knocked France 1944 out of the park. Fabulous collaborator. Kudos. Love it. Maps already done. France 1944 and Russia 1944 link up.
Okay.
Judd would have loved a top 5 games he hated episode. Yeah, I think he would have. He might have done it quick.
Yeah.
Diplomacy. Yes.
I don't know whether he was in any kind of negotiating games or not.
Trying to think. I don't think. I think it would have the backstabbery would have drove him nuts. It would have been too much party game style of
I agree.
Yeah. I don't think because he would have had a perfect plan, and if you would have just stuck to the plan, and then he would have told you once we get France out of the way, then we can go after each other, and they would take him out early, and he'd be like, "Why did you break the plan?"
Right.
less than one. I think heaven is the only place that would keep Judd from you if you dared a one-page Mark Herman.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm not.
I don't know. What is it? Just
yeah.
You would really like Container if you like Automobile. I played the new version last week.
I've heard good things about it. The new version has given it new life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. We're about to wrap up. We're getting to the end of the list, and we're on a good time here. I think he hated diplomacy. Okay. He hated it. Got it. Well, we are going to wrap up. So I'd mentioned, this was the program for Judd's funeral. And one thing I loved, his high school senior photo. Yeah. Can you get his high school senior photo is that one. That is literally in his yearbook, and he loved it. He loved that photo because I was like, was this like a spoof? When I was in high school, it was just like, all seniors, or all juniors report to the gym for the photos.
Right.
Well, the seniors would often dress up in something that made them look nerdy or different or weird. And they would go jump in on the freshman photo lineup, and they create a fake name, and they would show up in the deal. So I thought when I first saw it, I thought, what were you doing? A mockery of the freshman? He goes, nope.
Well, the thing too, I don't know if you noticed, but I think we talked about it. No, we did, because we talked about it. His celebration of life service. They of course had a photo scroll up there.
Yes.
And it's like half of the photos he was like this, staring right.
Yeah.
And it's like I think when he was a 6-year-old kid, he looked that way.
Yes,
probably.
He loved it. Liz, my wife, takes photos all the times we get over, and she found one where he was just waving and smiling nice, but she's like, look at these. And it was him making the face all the time. Would he like Risk Legacy? Not quite a heavy war game.
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think of him devoting the time to complete a legacy campaign.
Again and again. Yeah. I think he might have liked the idea that he could like rename, like part of Australia.
Oh my gosh.
Juddlandia.
Gosh.
Yeah. I think he would love that.
This is, I was going to say Mark Hernia, but that gives me a different picture.
It
totally.
does, yes. Right. Triceratopia.
There you go.
Yeah, he would come up with, I think he would like that part of it.
Yep.
And he would end up with some tie-in that would probably be fun.
Yep.
Mark, a great memorial. Well done, gents. I hope to sit down with you.
Yeah, sorry I won't see you.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not going to be there. I see the Player Aids. The Player Aid does some war game video reviews, plays, things like that. And half of them are going it's Alexander and Grant. Do you watch that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have seen that.
So I asked them whether they were going to be at WBC this year, and Grant is going to be there, but Alexander has a family reunion on the French Riviera.
Wow.
I thought, that's tough.
Is he European?
I don't know.
I thought maybe he'd move. I can't remember, but that is rough.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing the show, guys.
Our pleasure.
Yep. It was a joy.
Thanks.
Great show from Robert. +1. Thanks for this, guys. You bet. Thank you, Brian. And great job, guys. And we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. It was a blast.
Game on.
Game on and HAMTAG.
And I'll try and put that thing in. I just had my one page for Congress of Vienna accepted. So I'll try to get the ASL ASL starter kit differences, maybe in both games, come to think of it. Get it posted soon. Game on.
Get it? Ham tags.
Okay, he has, or I wonder if he's, I mean, because they're obviously physically together now, but
right.
yeah.
Got it. All right, here we go. See you guys. Thank you.